Hello and welcome back to Ambition, a minuet in power. Alright guys, we got a lot going on here, and I'm not sure how much I want to do in this episode, so I guess we'll just take it one at a time, right? So, considering we've got an event going on here, which is the Antoine event, and we've got 2 exhaustion level, I think what we should do is we should rest in preparation for this, because otherwise we're going to gain quite a bit of exhaustion and reduce our credibility much further than I would like. I've been using a lot of these credibility checks, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. Continue to keep doing going forward, at least. Alright, so he's in the revolution, so we gotta get something that's good for that. +8 is good. And +8's the winner. Yeah, I don't think we used this earlier, so we will use this now. Let's go. After spending the first half of the day getting ready, you head out for your rendezvous. You're neither well-rested nor exhausted. Nothing is holding you back from being your most engaging self. You return to Les Grands Danseurs du Roi, and the energy is already frantic. While the stage performers are still getting ready, various jugglers, comedians, and animal handlers are working the aisles, building the energy of the audience. Antoine, tumultuous as ever, storms over to you shortly after you arrive. So you've made it. Shall we? You look ravishing, by the way, he says, quietly but firmly while walking ahead of you. You've gained a staggering amount of favor with Antoine. He looks around, and you're not really certain if he's examining the location or looking for threats. Ooh, yeah, what do they call that? I forget. It's like active watching or something. There's something about, like, you gotta watch out your surroundings, but he's a revolutionary, so there is added peril for him in general, as well as for us at 42 peril.
Ooh.
Ah, how I love Les Grands Danseurs du Roi. He laughs as a group of dancers take to the stage. Don't let the name fool you. This place is a raw expression of the people's desire. In some ways, theater is more true than reality itself. You've gained some favor. The show was comical, stirring, shocking, and the two of you are on your feet before anyone else to yell for an encore. The lights of the stage reflect in Antoine's eyes like a field of stars, and for a moment he seems more dazzling than life itself. A few hours later, you realize that it's starting to get late and the two of you depart together. Looking at Antoine, you feel like today went quite well. That was it? Oh, well, maybe the second one will have more involved. Just like it was with... Oh my goodness! A tennis court meeting. This morning, the representatives from the Third Estate went to meet in their usual chambers, but were blocked by a combination of armed guards and construction workers who claimed their chambers were being shut down for renovations. When the representatives attempted to enter anyway to hold a meeting, the armed guards forced them away at gunpoint. Oof. Without a place to meet, the increasingly angry representatives found an empty tennis court. There, they met and discussed the latest issues ahead of them, especially the Crown's latest attempts to thwart their ability to organize. They were not alone in this meeting, joined by several sympathetic members of the clergy, as well as a group of nobles who aimed to reach across the political aisle and break the deadlock that has been plaguing the Estates General. In a sudden move of unity, all the members of the Third Estate vowed that they wouldn't disband until they've established a written constitution for France. This is the first time the Third Estate has openly opposed His Majesty, the King. Revolution gained a decent amount of power, bourgeoisie gained a decent amount of power, and bourgeoisie moved closer to the revolution some. The exact wording of this tennis court oath borrowed heavily from the Declaration of Independence used by the American colonists to the King of England. It's not surprising, as many of the most ardent constitutionalists were once army officers sent by His Majesty to help the Americans throw off the shackles of an unjust monarch. So, I don't know, when did the French Revolution happen? I was under the impression that this is when this took place. But did the French Revolution happen after the Declaration of Independence? I gotta say, I can't remember from my history classes, because in my history classes, most of my teachers were always like had a very dull monotone voice, and they were just reading from a book. So it was very, very difficult to stay awake, especially if you had class right after lunch and you had a big old lunch and you got all like sleepy and wanted to take a nappy nap. So I ended up, yeah, I ended up napping quite often in history class. Sorry to say. Now they have brought that fight home. However, rather than relieve the growing tension, this only seems to have heightened it. His Majesty the King has yet to make a statement on the National Assembly, and this indirect effort to curtail them seems to have backfired quite significantly. And so, in Paris, life goes on. Oh, Honorade. The 23rd. We will accept anything that she sends to us. Antoine. Okay, the 24th? Back to back. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Alright, so... Jeez. We have one exhaustion now. We have an event tomorrow. Then we have a day of rest the next day. So I think our outfits primarily have like a really great or a really large positive for the military. So I think we can take today to actually do stuff. Oh, here are the people that I guess are love interests. I just assumed that they were the main characters or the characters at play because I didn't know Honorade, was up there like that. Oh, look! Oh, you can see that they are love interests because there's little hearts, or not hearts, little kissy faces right next to their picture. So that's how you know that they've got like a love interest thing going on here. But what I came over here to do is take a look at our gossip and see how old it is. So we've got some really old ones here, but those are cheap. I know we got some... Here we go. 3 days old for the shocking and the outrageous. So we do have some time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out today and we'll have one exhaustion level for the military party and then we'll rest after that. I'm thinking maybe I should try one of these Ludovico ones, maybe? We've got this, or turned around, is this choosing to explore the city later in the evening, you happen across a certain widow. Oh, this one is the Honorade versus Ludovico. Providing for the poor, a lovesick priest. Okay, yeah, we'll try this one. Providing for the poor, a lovesick priest you might know is trying to raise money for the less fortunate. However, that is proving to be much harder than it sounds. Walking through the city, you note that the weather is perfectly fine, but something just feels tense today. People are walking together in tight clusters, and nobody seems willing to meet each other's eyes. That's when you hear him yelling. I said piss off, screams a man at a young priest you recognize. While there are other people in the street, the surrounding crowds are ignoring the two so thoroughly that they might as well be in a different country altogether. All I did was ask for a donation, states Ludovico, gesturing gently with a small wooden donation box in his hands. Take it up with the hangman if you care so much, you greedy bloodsucker. Monsieur, why do you have so much venom for the poor? I have nothing but sympathy for my poor countrymen. It's you priests that I hate. You take our land, ignore our taxes, and build yourselves great churches of marble and gold. Then you have the audacity to ask us for money to help the poor. The man spits on the ground. If your pope cares so much, he can reach into his own pockets, not mine. Both you and Ludovico are struck dumb by this display. Never in your life have you ever heard someone speak to a priest this way. Monsieur, His Holiness already put significant effort towards fundraising aimed at... I swear that if you say another word, I will thrash you. Alright, so... we can say, calm yourself, monsieur. You've proven yourself tougher than a monk. Satisfied? This is a medium credibility. We're at 95 credibility, so we could probably get that. Then the church is doing something. Unlike the revolution, the poor can't eat a constitution. No, we don't want to do that. Take away some of our favor with that faction. And stand down for Father Sadati. He has a good point. I mean, he's just asking. He doesn't, like, the other guy doesn't have to be so mean about it, so let's just go with that. Calm yourself, monsieur. You've proven yourself tougher than a monk. Satisfied? Eyes focusing on you, they both go silent. Tension hangs in the air like an axe. Fine. I don't need to waste my time on this. Both of you can go swindle someone else. With that, the nationalist storms away. A few moments later, Ludovico finally managed to exhale. Bless you, Yvette. I was certain that this was all going to come to violence. Gained a decent amount of favor with Ludovico. Heart still racing from the encounter, you and Ludovico spend some time walking around together. You walk, talk, trade book recommendations, and generally calm down. Eventually, the two of you part ways. Thinking back on what you transpired, you shake your head. Sometimes it just feels like all of Paris is losing its mind. Alright, so today we've got the military party. And, of course, is the day for rent. Alright, we'll pay the rent. Alright, and then we will get ready for this pate. It is for the military, so I know we've got 2 dresses for that. There's this one, plus 13. And we had another one plus 13. We'll do this one, because it is only useful for the military, so we may as well use this and use the novelty up. So we'll go to this one, and we will head straight for the party. Alright, and we will go ahead and continue 100 credibility. We'll spend the 10 livres to try to reduce our peril just a little bit. And we will continue. Alright, there's this one. This one's with Jakov. Making deals. You happen across Jakov Merkovic, the liquor importer, again. It seems that he's trying to strike a deal with an extremely discerning customer. As you might remember, Monsieur Merkovic usually rewards those who help him. There's this one, a small wager. Failing to fit in. The wife of the soldier is having trouble consorting with other military spouses. This one's come up a few times. Pulling rank. Just as you're about to seize upon some valuable gossip, you're interrupted by a presumptuous interloper. This one's come up a few times too, so let's go over to the Javik one, and we will go through this conversation. You find yourself drawn to an open window and the precious breeze that it provides. This summer has been appallingly hot, and today is no different than any other. You spot the liquor importer, Jakov Merkovic again. He is, as usual, accompanied by his cat, Duso. He recognizes you and brightens up into a smile as you approach him. Bonjour, Madame Ducot. Apparently, he has not forgotten the times you helped him with his importing operation. As you step next to Jakov, Duso starts to crane her head out towards you. Let's pet the cat. You pet the cat and scratch her a little underneath his chin. She purrs appreciatively, but after a few moments, she later takes a playful swipe at your hands with her claws. Thankfully, you manage to pull back in time before she can scratch you. Jakov only laughs. Would you believe that means she likes you? You've gained a little credibility. Look at this place, Jakov continues, gesturing to everyone in sight. I've never seen so much precious wine and spirits consumed in a single setting. It's enough to make me nostalgic for home. If possible, I need your assistance making a sale here. I wouldn't normally need help with this aspect of the business, but this particular customer-to-be is quite patriotic in his dealings. Put simply, he's skeptical of my foreign merchants of any stripe, and it would help to have someone who is actually French speaking on my behalf. I have samples of my product, of course, but I'd rather not trust the entire sale to the whims of one man's palate, he sighs. Before you can answer, the man in question has approached Jakov. This connoisseur carries himself with that humorless bearing that afflicts all men who are desperate to be taken seriously, even when they have nothing important to say. Monsieur Merkovic, I've been told that you're looking to speak with me about your foreign provisions. Provisions? Really? He's buying supplies for a party, not a grand expedition across the Alps. Though I can't imagine why I wouldn't just buy from a local merchant. And I think we're just going to go straight for the credibility challenge. It's an easy one. Isn't there a value in having a variety of spirits available for your guests? A value in variety, you say? I suppose that does make a certain amount of sense. Not all of my guests share my refined taste, and they may enjoy that certain novelty that Monsieur Merkovic's wares are able to provide. Perhaps my spirits will provide your finer vintages with a necessary contrast? They could help highlight what makes French wine so unique. It seems that we should discuss business after all.
Oh,
Still facing the connoisseur, Jakov steps close to you and slyly palms a note into your hand. Monsieur, perhaps you and I should take this discussion elsewhere. After all, it's unseemly to discuss the specifics of finance in public. Ah, yes, indeed, the client-to-be replies, as sweet and cordial as the spirits he is likely to buy. They step away and you take a moment to examine the note that was slipped into your hand. It appears to concern some scurrilous things that Jakov overheard while speaking with some clients. You've gained a piece of outrageous military gossip. You quickly tuck the paper into your bodice and move on before someone notices it. That little exchange has been profitable to you both. Very nice, very nice. Alright, small wager is still here, failing to fit in. Lost coin and a martial intrigue. A rather run-of-the-mill interaction with a lone aristocrat at a party. You might find yourself having many like it in the future. This failing to fit in one looks like it's much more, or has the possibility to be much more lucrative because of the shocking and the outrageous gossip. So we'll go here. As you stroll through the space between the tents, taking in the sun, you see a woman sitting alone and angrily sighing to herself. You decide to approach her after she sits listlessly in her seat for the 5th time. Dieu merci, I was starting to think I'd become invisible, she says to herself when she notices you. Sacre bleu, you're Yvette Ducot, aren't you? She gasps as she looks you in the eye for the first time. It's almost unnerving how recognizable you've become. Well, at least you understand how it feels to be out of place, she sighs, this time less unhappily. My husband is a soldier who was recently transferred to Paris. I followed him, of course, but now it means I'm in a city where I don't know anyone. I've met the other military wives, but they already know each other, and my every attempt at pleasantries is rebuffed. She looks down at the table and starts to shake. I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of parties where everyone only wants to talk about the army. I'm sick of haughty women who find every excuse to disregard me. I'm sick of other women acting like they're better than me because their husband outranks my husband. Nobody ever listens to me, but I sure listen to them, she says, rolling her eyes. And let's go with the easy credibility challenge. What exactly did you hear when they ignore you? Oh, so many things. For example, did you know that? With a building excitement, she tells you of the latest goings-on and misbehaviors that have been bubbling within the military's ranks. Gained a piece of shocking military gossip. And honestly, it gets so much worse than that. Worse? Please, tell me more. Before we continue, Yvette, I just want you to know that I know you're using me. Lost a little credibility. However, I simply don't care at this point. What do you think of this? Gained a piece of outrageous military gossip. Well, I must say it's been a pleasure, but I must be going, she says with a nod in your direction. Bonne chance, Yvette. She leaves, and you begin to review the party to see if there's anything else you can do before the event comes to a close. And there is not. But we got cheap military gossip, outrageous military gossip, shocking military gossip, and even more outrageous military gossip. Very, very nice. All right. So we are at a point now where we've got 2 more events coming up, but we are at 2 exhaustions. So I think at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to take a rest here with Yvette, because these are going to add exhaustion, and we will get ready for our rendezvous with Honorade. Let us... Ooh, I kind of want to wear this Honorade's gift, because it... maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should go with, Maybe I'll go with, this one. This dress. It is a new dress, and it is good for bourgeoisie. So that is a plus. We'll save Honorate's gift for another time, you guys. After spending the first half of the day getting ready, you head out for your rendezvous. You're neither well-rested nor exhausted. Nothing is holding you back from being your most engaging self. You return to the fine dining room and crystal chandeliers of Le Grand Taverne de Londres. A few aristocrats glance up from the tables at you and take your measure before returning to their splendid food. Looks like a lot of this is the same, so we will continue moving forward. And we'll see if there's anything that changes here. So far, there's not. Alright. Let's see. Nope, it's all the same. Okay. I wonder what makes the difference between going out one time and going out a second time. Why that second time it was different. Regardless, we're going on this little rendezvous with Antoine now, and he is with the Revolution, so let's pick something that's appropriate. This one? Wait, we just wore this. We don't want to wear this again. Wait, did we just wear this? The novelty didn't go down. Oh, we wore this one. So... No? Did we wear this one? We must have. Okay. Well, I'm gonna wear this one. It is +6 to Revolution. We're going to lose 5 credibility for exhaustion, so we'll end up +1. So let's wear this and head out to... Yeah, we got a credibility loss. Oh, we don't get the addition for these ones, guys. Alright. So it looks like it's the same all around still. Alright, it's nothing different there. So we must have finished those storylines all the way through, maybe? Will they hate us if we if we decline on the next few ones? So I'm going to go home and rest Yvette for the next party. But we really need to still some of that gossip really soon. Because they're starting to get staler, or more stale. So this one is for the bourgeois. So we'll go with this one, +12. Is that all we have? Oh, this one's +11. Let's go with this one for now. Because it'll take us to 100 credibility. Would be 101 if we could go over, but it's not going to. So we'll just head straight for the party. And because we're at 100 credibility, we have the option of spending 10. I think I will to reduce our peril just a little bit. And then we will continue forward. Let's see, what have we got? Outlandish rumors. So this has changes to Alex and Honorade. We could change. I kind of don't want to risk changing our favor with Honorade. A hunting party. You notice a woman approaching you and you sense some sort of amorous intent from her. But something about the whole situation feels off. Something scandalous to be sure, but you're not certain if you want to be close to it. Okay? Loose lips. A guest has apparently been entrusted with valuable knowledge only to make the mistake of getting extremely drunk afterwards. A single chambermaid has been told to watch over him, but you've never been one to let such a petty obstacle get in your way. And sufficient funds. Every group has ways of measuring one's worth and whether they deserve to belong. With the aristocracy, it's title. With the church's faith. With the bourgeoisie, it's simply money. One guest is here to remind you of such things. I kind of feel like I want to go with this hunting party one. Yeah, I don't know. The hunting party and the sufficient funds both have cheap gossip. And this loose lip ones also has cheap gossip. This outlandish rumors has us pick between Alex and Honorade, but there is chance of shocking and or outrageous gossip. So maybe what we'll do is we'll pick this one. We haven't met Alex yet, right? At least Not to the point where he shows up in our diary. You notice two women, apart from everyone else in the room, laughing in that guilty yet carefree way that suggests something is afoot. They've yet to notice you, yet you're drawn to them like a banker towards an outstanding debt. I've heard the most outlandish things from my fellow business partners in the bourgeoisie, but I just know it'll come back to haunt me if I repeat it here. Ah, what a familiar feeling. My husband's told me of what he's seen in the army, and I'm of the same mind. I'm not sure if I could endure the backlash that would result. Given the reprisals you've endured since you started to work with Pierre, you certainly understand. It's not something that anyone would want to be on the receiving end of. The two women stare at each other in silence, which gives way to barely suppressed laughter. Then silence again. It's settled then. Neither of us discuss what we know with anyone, even each other. Even while she says it, you can easily see that it would be trivial to get either of them to talk. It's just a matter of weathering the consequences. As they said, anyone who leaks these particular rumors will face immediate scrutiny from whoever has had their secrets exposed. They're starting to part from one another, and this is your chance to follow them. Let's follow and get the military gossip so we don't ruin the honor raid favor. You follow the woman as she leaves her companion behind. Together they were resolute, but divided she'll surely fall. Ah, do I know you? She asks as you approach, desperately trying to maintain a stony and determined expression. As you chat together, it doesn't take long for that facade to fall away. You share a few choice anecdotes of your own, and soon she's eager to tell you what's been burning within her. You gained a piece of outrageous military gossip. As you guessed previously, it's clear that she has no real sense of discretion. It's likely that before the night is over, members of the military will know that you got this information from her. Corporal Dumas, favor down. The following conversation is empty but energetic. While there's nothing of substance, there's something to be said about enthusiasm making things interesting. Sometime later, sensing a lull in the discussion, you excuse yourself to pursue other inquiries. Alright, so sufficient funds. That's structural disagreement. Monsieur von Meyendorff, who you've spoken with earlier, appears to be having quite the disagreement with one of his supplies. It's considered rather gauche to air such grievances in public, so this must be serious indeed. A small wager and feigned acquaintance. Let's go with this one. Oh, it's what's this name? Christoph, I think his name is. You find yourself drawn to the telltale signs of an argument. If nothing else, it should be entertaining. Me, monsieur? You're blaming me for the collapse of that bridge? I visited the worksite myself, and I saw those supplies that you'd sold the builders. The stones had enough cracks in them to resemble a spider's web. Of course my design didn't hold up. The angles themselves couldn't succeed with such shoddy materials. You exaggerate, garçon. The materials my company supplied weren't as poor as you say. Even if they were, every business has a right to save itself money wherever possible. Yeah, but not at the cost of people's lives, jerk. Are you even listening to yourself? You trade every soul for you trade your very soul to the devil for a few coins, and I think you'd still have struck the better bargain. Monsieur von Meyendorff replies, his expression calm but his voice white-hot with anger. Listen here, you Austrian cur. You do not have the right to speak to me like that. I may not hold a title, but I am still far above your station. I am a regular guest of the lords and ladies of Versailles, and I will be treated as such. I'm sure the nobles adore you and your refusal to take responsibility for your own failings. However, if you'd actually paid any attention, you would have noticed that at the court of Versailles doesn't quite have the favor of the people in this room. Then again, I can't expect you to notice that. It would require you to pay attention to something other than yourself. Oh, that's a good burn, Christoph. But you're assuming that he's smart enough to notice that. Some of the observing guests whisper amongst each other reprovingly. Even if the bourgeoisie is unhappy with the crown at the moment, one still has to give a certain amount of respect to powerful men like this masonry magnate. You're treading on dangerous ground, garçon. Are you sure that I'm the one that's in danger? Christoph replies, smiling for the first time. I've learned a lot while having the unpleasurable experience of working with you. If you're not careful, some of your indiscretion could become more public. You see both of them sharply inhaling, about to deliver their next verbal blows. We have a credibility challenge here. It's a hard credibility challenge. I don't know if we've come across one before, but I think we're gonna go for it and give it a try. Alright, so, but this one here, small amount of peril. Esteemed monsieur, did you make your entire fortune shifting blame or just most of it? And then the in-between, a poor craftsman blames his tools, Christoph. Surely this esteemed gentleman is right. No, we're gonna go with this last one and just be like, now, messieurs, perhaps this isn't so bad. Let's not take this a bridge too far. Oh, Yvette, a pun. Are you really suggesting that we should just live and let live over something this serious? Christoph asks you flatly. Perhaps we can part ways and simply be icily polite to each other from now on. I can find these terms agreeable, as long as I never have to work with you again, the Austrian architect replies, receiving only a polite nod in response. The magnate leaves, and Christoph returns to you. Well, that was vaguely satisfactory, and I suppose it prevented us from causing a scene, so thank you, Madame Ducal. Gained some credibility, lost a little peril. Very good. Now, if you might excuse me, I have some other business to attend to. My reputation has been damaged enough by that loathsome blockhead that I must find a new project to save my reputation. Christoph leaves, and you're left there without much in the way of a reward, but at least you've prevented their argument from degenerating into a complete embarrassment. Alright, so we've got some gossip, lost some peril, and we lost a little bit of Alex's favor, which is fine because we still haven't put him on the board yet. Okay, so, Antoine, July 1st, sure, I think? Yeah, we'll do it. We do lose favor if you decline, so kind of don't want to decline, so we'll keep accepting them as they come up. They're both together, dude. Right together. Okay. So here, we have one exhaustion. So what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to go and try to sell some of this gossip. Got to get it out. Oh, he looks like he needs something. And he wants revolution gossip. All right. So I think we have some for him. So let's take a look at what we've got. So first things first, we're going to try to sell and make money. So we've got shocking church gossip. This has gone stale, so we're not going to sell that one in particular. We've got this one also kind of gotten stale a bit, so we're not going to sell that one specifically. This one is still relevant, and fresh. Okay. Alright, so we're going to sell these two. It's 90, so that's good. So we're going to sell this one, no chance of finding out. And then we're going to sell this one, and 1 in 20 chance, that's fine. And I think as far as selling, that's where we're going to stop. We're going to keep this one, it's very fresh still. These ones from the Revolution, we will peddle influence. And we will increase the power of Revolution barely. He's happy about that. That's fine. That's good, my dude. And we will continue to do that with some of these other ones. Sway the allegiance of the bourgeoisie. So we will sway them towards the Revolution barely. And same here for this one. Sway the church. So we will sway the church towards the Revolution a little. We will just continue with this. Push the church towards the Revolution. And church gossip. Sway them towards the Revolution. The military, let's sway them towards the Revolution. Oh, this one's pretty fresh, so it'll have more impact. But let's get rid of these old ones first. So this one is literally old, so we'll sway this one. Push the church towards the Revolution. Okay. This one is relevant, but starting to get old. I think we'll get rid of the cheap one. We'll sway the bourgeoisie towards the Revolution. And the shocking military gossip. Sway the military by a medium amount. We will sway them... Oh no, this increases or decreases the power. Let's not. and say we did. So we sold 2 pieces of gossip, which were pretty good. Got 180 out of that, so I think that was worthwhile. And that took up a day, so this day, I think we're paying rent. Yep.
Huh.
Here is rent.
Ah.
So we made a total of 140 after paying rent. Oh no! You pause to read the social pages of the newspaper while you take your breakfast, sitting at your vanity. One of the benefits of a free newspaper. Yep. Oh man. So we got peril up. And of course, damaged reputation. Great. I really need to reduce my peril now. Like, seriously. We've got, actually, I got one more day. I think we can take another day out and carry over 1 exhaustion. So, what shall we do? We could... I think this direct action is for Antoine. Yeah. Or we could do some of this other stuff. It's turned around. No. Unwilling Confessor. This is plus or minus for Ludovico. I think we'll move in the direction of advancing Antoine's, maybe. So let's do this, I think. This... Man, when you're out with him, it seems like it's always an increase in peril, man. Maybe I won't do this one just yet. Maybe I will do this Unwilling Confessor. We can increase or decrease a favor for Ludovico. I don't think it really matters whether or not Pierre favors us, because we're basically his only source of gossip anyways. That day, you decide to take a turn around the fountain square, since there's usually interesting something going on there. During your daytime stroll, you happen to see 2 men that you recognize. Then again, you can't imagine what either of these 2 men would have to say to each other. That's why I'm saying good Monsieur Sidotti. It's Father Sidotti, Ludovico interrupts gently. Of course, Monsieur Father Sidotti, Pierre replies with a deep bow of deference. What I'm saying is that you must hear many precious secrets and indiscretions from your parishioners during the course of your duties. You mean when I take their confessions? Ah, but of course. I'm certain that you see and hear all manner of things during these tedious duties, and I would like to offer you a simple payment for anything that you might hear. Is this a serious question, signore, or the product of some brandy-fueled delirium? Can it not be both? Absolutely not, Ludovico replies. I've sworn many solemn vows, and I happen to take some of them quite seriously. Let us not be so hasty, Father, Pierre says, the picture of calm. This is not some untested endeavor. The Cardinal de Rohan himself was among my many suppliers some years ago. Signore, I cannot think of a stronger reason to avoid something than finding out that the Cardinal de Rohan partook of it. Well, be that as it may, I'm sure we can find an arrangement that you would find agreeable. I would agree with you going away and never speaking to me again. I meant something other than that. Let's go with Pierre. Trust me, you don't want to pay good money for such paltry leads. What? Why would I not? People are confessing their darkest secrets to the Lord himself. Of course I want to know what they're saying. No, Yvette is correct. Most confessions are the petty sins that trouble the hearts of every man and woman, not great scandals. Ugh, fine, Pierre huffs. I shall have to think of something else. Have you considered attending confession yourself, Signore Renaudot? Father, I assure you that what minor evils I have committed have all been in the pursuit of truth. And isn't that what really matters in the eyes of the Lord? No, not really. Ah, well, nevertheless, Pierre says with a shrug, I must take my leave. Au revoir to you both. Pierre favors the 2 of you with a comically formal bow and then leaves. What an utterly bizarre little man, the priest mutters to himself. The 2 of you spend some time chatting together, laughing about the absurdity of the day's events. On several occasions, he thanks you again for your help, and we increase favor with him. Eventually, you part ways and you decide to head home for the day. All right, so we're getting ready for the party today with 1 exhaustion, and it is for the church. So let us find something suitable for the church. Here we go. Provincial dress, plus 12. Minus 5 credibility, that makes 7. That brings our credibility up to 92. And then we will bring it up further and reduce our peril a little bit with a little bit of wine. Little gift, so to speak. So let's spend the 10. Alright. Alright, so let's see here. We've got one with Ludovico. We've got Blessed Secrecy. The couple in this section of the party seem to be absolutely brimming with gossip and secrets, yet it feels like there's something that they are just not telling you. It may take some convincing, but such hidden truths could be valuable. Holier than thou, your presence hasn't gone unnoticed for those who consider themselves extremely pious. We've seen that one. Loose lips. We've seen this one too. Also, cheap church gossip. This one is more lucrative, but this one has Ludovico. Ludovico's invitation. Ludovico, that unusually sweet priest that you met earlier, wishes to speak to you, but is currently trapped in a conversation with a woman that simply refuses to leave his side. Alright, we'll check this one out. Striding through the party, keeping your eyes open for something interesting, you manage to spot Ludovico, that intriguing priest from before. He appears to be talking to someone else already, but you approach them regardless. Which is why I'll have to travel overland if I'm to return to Rome when all of this is concluded. Ships might be too much for me. All because you performed a man's last rites? I feel like the ship's captain overreacted. You were just doing your duty, the woman replies. By the way, where did you learn Turkish in the first place? Oh, well, Ludovico mumbles as he sips his wine. Faith can accomplish a great many things. Noticing you, Ludovico suddenly perks up. Oh my, Yvette, it's good to see you again. Turning to the woman, he introduces you. This is my friend, Madame Ducot. Have the two of you met before? Her mouth falls agape. Wait, you're Yvette Ducot, as in the infamous Madame Ducot? In the flesh, madame. Trust me, everything you've heard is only the beginning. Or, though I must caution you, most of the stories are exaggerations. Or, Ludovico, it's great to see you again. Have you been well? Let's go with the ostentatious in the flesh, madame. Trust me, everything you've heard is only the beginning. Oh, really? She tears behind her hand. I've already heard some outrageous stories, so you must be quite fascinating. Yes, well, in my experience, Yvette has always been rather bold, Ludovico says with a smile. You've gained some favor with him. As for myself, Ludovico continues, I've been extremely busy lately. My superiors at the parish I've been assigned to have come all down with a debilitating fever, so I've been leading mass for the last few days. It's been years, and I still get nervous speaking in front of crowds, he sighs. He turns to the other woman. I'm sorry, madame, but can you excuse us? I need to speak it to Yvette alone for the moment. Oh, really? She replies. Whatever for? And easy credibility challenge. I'm sorry, but this spiritual matter requires some discretion.
Oh-ho!
Ah, yes. This information is a private matter of the utmost importance, Ludovico chimes in helpfully.
Uh-huh.
Ah, but of course. I won't take up any more of your time. With a polite curtsy, she disappears into the crowd. You can hear Ludovico mumbling a prayer to himself. That was probably not the best reason I've borne false witness, he admits with a sheepish grin. We're finally alone, he says with a sigh of relief. As I said before, I'm leading mass at the church I've been assigned to in the south of Paris. It may not be the most glamorous district, but the building is beautiful and our choir is quite lovely. Benedictions is now available to visit in the Paris map. I'm holding mass there every day for the foreseeable future, and I'd love for you to attend. I'd love to see you, and well, he blushes, trailing off. Well, Father Sadati, is this a romantic advance? And, yes, kneeling in prayer, the perfect date activity. Why didn't I think of it sooner? I think this might be too out there for him. Kiss him on the cheek. Oh, but of course. I think that might be a bit much for him. He's very shy, so... Why, Father Sadati, is this a romantic advance?
Oh.
Well, I've never really done one of those before, so it might not be a very good one. But yes, this is exactly what you think it is, Yvette. I know this all sounds strange, but with my vows, I have to be more discreet than most. I'd still like to see you, and you being seen attending one of my sermons is one of the best ways for us to establish a public relationship.
Ooh.
That is, if you'd like for us to have a relationship at all, he says, equal parts coy and hopeful. You've gained a little favor with him. Someone in a crowd nearby calls out to Ludovico. It appears that I am indeed needed elsewhere. Adieu, Yvette. With that, he disappears into the crowd. Well, this is certainly intriguing. Yeah, or we could say I don't know how comfortable I am with all of this. We're gonna go with intriguing. With a lighter step than normal, you set off to explore the party, wondering about the future holds for you and a certain priest. Some of the wording in this game I'm a little unsure of. It could just be me not being smart enough to know proper grammar. Lost coin, holier than thou, feigned acquaintance, and blessed secrecy. We're going to do this one. It's got a chance at shocking church gossip. The couple in this section of the party seems to be absolutely brimming with gossip and secrets, yet it feels like there's something that they're just not telling you. It may take some convincing, but such hidden truths could be valuable. Alright, so let's go into this one. You find yourself chatting with an interesting pair. Neither of them are members of the clergy. In fact, few people at the party are. If you had to guess, most of the guests here are either major contributors, ardent defenders of the faith, or people with relatives in the clergy. The conversations here are more subdued than some of the parties you've been to, but no less interesting. In fact, you've already managed to hear some very interesting things. Gain some cheap church gossip. By the way, have you heard anything else about... The man sways, waggling his eyebrows significantly at his friend. Oh, she perks up, then leans in to whisper to her friend, there have been some developments. Of course, you still manage to hear the two talking. Also, excluding others from the conversation like this is rude. But I'd rather discuss it later, she continues, shooting a quick, nervous glance. And this credibility challenge is an easy one, so please don't worry, I already know. You what? She says, voice tightening as you study them. They both fail to meet your gaze. She leans in closer. I don't know who would have told you, but the fact that this is getting out is already not good. Don't worry, I think we can trust her, he reassures her. You've gained some credibility. She starts discussing these developments, and you find them genuinely surprising. Some of the details are quite damning, especially for a group like the Church, who make such an effort to wash their hands of sin. Gained a piece of scandalous church gossip. Oh my goodness. With an odd tension in the air, the three of you go your separate ways. You can't help but glance around to see if anyone watched that whole exchange. You notice nothing out of the ordinary. Wow. Alright, so 2 cheap church gossips, 1 shocking one. I thought it was supposed to be scandalous. Come on, man. Well, maybe it's not quite as scandalous as me dropping the dime on you and telling you that this video is over. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope that you will come back for the next one as we go into the next couple of meetings with both Honorade and Antoine. And I hope to see you there. Until then, everyone, bye.